Hey, I'm Chris Simmons, and welcome to The Size of Our Shoes. I like to focus on a few big pillars of environmentalism. So there's awareness, knowing what's happening and why. There's action, knowing what can be done and what your specific role is. And then there's advocacy, knowing who's doing what and how we can support those efforts. Advocacy applies to innovative technologies, government reforms, or in the case of today's video, celebrities who are using their platform, their influence, and most importantly, their moolah to make a massive change in the world. Are you new to environmentalism but are interested in getting a little bit more involved or a little more invested? Well, hit that subscribe button and check that notifications bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video, have a new discussion, or come out with a new topic. Go ahead, I'll wait. Great. Now, let's see what some of your favorite celebrities are doing to fight for a brighter, cleaner future. Let's start with David Gilmour. Some of my younger audience might not be familiar with Gilmour, but I needed to include him because of the sheer magnitude of his generosity. David Gilmour was a guitarist and vocalist for one of the most renowned psychedelic rock bands of the 70s, Pink Floyd. At a charity event in June of 2019, David Gilmour sold 126 of his guitars for a whopping $21.1 million. This includes his famous Black Strat, which he used to play the solos of Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here. That guitar sold for $3.9 million alone. Gilmour donated his earnings to Client Earth, an advocacy group that works in courtrooms to protect natural habitats and end pollution. What an absolute baller move. You go, Dave Gilmour. You go. Next, let's talk about Shawn Mendes. This Canadian singer-songwriter has been taking the world by storm for years now, with #1 hits like Stitches and Treat You Better. He found a spot on Forbes 30 Under 30 list in 2016 and has in recent years been using his influence to become a more substantial advocate for environmentalism and social injustice. In a 2019 concert in Sao Paulo, in the midst of the 4th global climate strike, Mendes took a minute while singing Youth to advocate for climate action.
Today, across the entire world, kids and people everywhere gather together for a global climate strike. Our voices to their voices and say that we demand action on climate change in our world.
He revealed the words "Climate Action Now," which he had taped on the back of his guitar. Then his foundation tweeted out links of locations to climate strikes around the country, so more people knew how and where to get involved. Now, advocacy by anyone, in any capacity, is great. But in addition to just talking the talk, Mendes also walks the walk. He's partnered with Reverb, who's an organization that works with touring musicians to create a more eco-conscious tour experience. It's estimated that he saved over 70,000 water bottles and raised funds to offset the carbon footprint from his more than a 9-month-long tour in 2019. Shawn Mendes looked at Mother Earth and said, "I know I can treat you better." I know. You know. Now, let's talk about maybe the most famous example of mainstream climate activism. I'm talking, of course, about Jack from the Titanic, Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street, literally Gatsby from The Great Gatsby. I'm talking, of course, about Leo the Goat DiCaprio. Leo is the creme de la creme of people who are using their influence for good. He sits on the boards of the World Wildlife Fund, the NRDC, the International Fund for Animal Welfare, not to mention that he's a UN messenger for peace who even delivered an impassioned speech on the floor of the UN following the United Nations Climate Summit. You can watch it here. It's really good. September 2018 marked 20 years and $100 million that his organization, the Leonardo DiCaprio Fund, I know, clever title, has used to support over 200 projects over the 6 fundamental areas that the program focuses on. Thank you for your service, Leo. You're really an inspiration for those of us who are trying to make a difference in the world that we live in and fight for a brighter, cleaner future. Hello, beautiful people. Thank you for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed hearing about how some of your favorite mainstream figures are fighting for a cleaner tomorrow. The celebrities I mentioned today are only a fraction of who's already fighting for a brighter future, and represent only a drop in a bucket of what still needs to be done. Who are your favorite celebrities speaking out about climate change? Tell me in the comments. And as always, be happy, be safe, and be well.